All right. Hello there, Bridget in the building. Excuse me, Minister Bridget in the building. Hello there.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm hanging in there, I got
I
kids.
see. Yes, and
Yeah.
I love your kids. So,
Yes, look, they love you, so you feel free to come on down anytime so we can leave them with you,
yes.
even if it's just to go to Walmart, because
Look, now, I'm going to take them to the beach and get them all amped up on some sugars and stuff. And we're going to have a dance contest. And then I'm going to bring them back.
okay, well, listen, as long as y'all dance so they can burn off some of that energy, that you do what you want.
Well, we're going to
They
have
in
a
your
dance
care.
challenge.
And Aaron's ready. He's ready for you.
Good. I can't wait.
That is too funny. So thank you for your time. Thank you for being here. It is long overdue for having the homie Minister Bridget on McCullar Family Ministries. For y'all that don't know, Bridget and I share the mutual friend of Pastor Z. And she would always say, Bridget this and Bridget that and Bridget. And I was like, you talk to me about Bridget like I know her. And I've never met this Bridget lady you keep telling me about. And she would just talk like I was there when it happened with Bridget. And I'm like, I don't know Bridget. But when I finally met you, I was like, oh yeah, I can get down with Bridget. And since then, it was like just for me, it was like just instant friendship. And I used to be like, Bridget is so quiet. And now I'm like, okay, maybe Bridget not so quiet like I thought she was. Bridget is just watchful. Okay, okay. And as am I. So I'm happy to have you here. I am so glad that God has put you in my life. And like I said from the start, it was just like Bridget is the homie. The homie I've been missing in life. So thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us to share your story as we just celebrate women. Women of faith, women who have overcome trials. And the hope is to encourage other women who may be going through some things similar to what you've gone through, who may not know what to really do with themselves in their current situation. So thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. Like I was just talking to you about, I wouldn't have missed it. I am proud to see where you have come, where you have taken the ministry. I've seen the growth. We've been able to see each other grow. So I'm actually honored that you even asked me to be a part of this opportunity. So
Of
I'm just excited to be here with you. I'm excited to see where the McCullough ministry is going. And I'm excited to see how God is growing you and shaping you and forming you and really using you to help so many women out, and not just women, but to help the world. So I already see that coming. TC, you're going to do big things. I can't wait.
yes,
So
and
I'm
I receive
excited.
it.
I'm excited. So I cannot wait. So, now thank you for allowing me to be here. So I
Of
appreciate
course.
that.
Of course, man. And I'm flattered. We ain't gonna cry today though, at least not on camera. We might
Nah,
we
not on
have to
camera. Not on
record.
camera.
We
Uh,
we're not crying on camera. All
right.
right. So Bridget, tell us a little bit about like your childhood. Where are you from? What was it like for you growing up?
Okay, well, I'm from Dallas, Texas. Let's see, I have an older sister. We're 2.5 years apart. My parents were married while we were there, but they did get a divorce later. So I had close-knit family. My cousins were all only like a year and a half, 2 years apart. I was the baby out the group, but we all lived across the street. So we were very family oriented. We would go on vacations together. We crossed the street to go to each other's house. So we all grew up together. So it was really like I had two additional sisters. And even to this day, we all still hang out. So I really did experience a close-knit family when it comes down to like cousins and sister and all of that stuff. So I had the full family experience. We played sports, very athletic. Say so softball is what we grew up in. I played, I guess you call it travel ball or competitive league. So we grew up having a very competitive mentality. We practiced 5 or 6 times a week. We played just about every weekend. We played, if we weren't having practice, we were playing games. And it was something where when we were coming through, there weren't many African Americans. So me and my sister really were the only ones out there, and it may be one or two others. So at an early age, we had to learn what it meant to be better, to give the 110% to get the same opportunities. But my dad, my mom were very supportive in regards to being vocal for us to ensure that we receive the same opportunities that everybody else did. Like I say, it was just a very, very competitive bringing up.
Yeah, I once was an athlete as well. You know, now I'm like the thought of running makes my back hurt. But back in the day, I played soccer and basketball, and I actually liked soccer more. But growing up in Garland, there weren't a lot of girls like me playing soccer. There may have been three more that I can think of
Mhm.
in like the whole league, and so most of my friends that looked like me played basketball, so naturally I eventually gravitated towards basketball. But I definitely can relate to, you know, you look around and it's like, oh, nobody else out here looks like me. This is like, I don't, okay, I guess I'll enjoy this. But I'm glad you had supportive parents and you know that family support system to help you get out there and really get it. So where
And
did
see, it was
softball take you?
softball actually took me to college. I say I had a full ride in college is where I went. I went to Louisiana Tech. So I was able to get a full ride in college, which helped pay for my education. I said so it was a great thing. But also when we were coming up, sports is kind of different now than what it was when we were coming. I think I tell people all the time, I'm probably not the coach that you want. Because when we were coming up, they pressed us. It wasn't everybody is a winner. If we were sore, we get to sit down. If I want some water, here, go take a sip. It was not like that. So in softball, of course, most of our coaches were men. I didn't have a female coach until I was actually in college. So most of our coaches were men and they treated us like that. So in regards to that, when we were playing, they lined us up against the fence and threw the balls at us full speed. They were not letting up. If you get hit, rub it off, shake it off, walk it off. If we lost, we was getting some choice words, even after on the field. And that's how it was. So it was really endurance that they taught us. We were taught that if you wanted to win, then you need to do the things to win. So we had to get up early in the morning to practice. You had to get up and run extra laps. And they also taught you what it really meant to be a team player. Because if one of y'all messed up, everybody messed up. So it taught you endurance, it taught you how to be a team player, it taught you how to persevere, when you're meeting adversity because you had to reach deep. So it was a lot of things where you say, okay, I'm not gonna quit. We wanted to be the best. And then when you started to get a taste of winning, I like the taste of winning. Because we traveled, we went out of state. Hang on one second. Sorry, my app switched over. We traveled, we went out of state. We stayed going to like state championship games, different things like that. So I was used to winning. and having that mentality, it helped me carry over into college. I played D1. So I was like, okay, I'm like you a D1 player, and people laugh all the time because I say it. I don't talk too much trash, but when I do, I'm like, that's fine. Google me. He's in there, you'll find something. What will they find?
Yes, I know. I know.
But
Bridget holds
that's just the
records,
case.
y'all. Don't Google her when you get a chance. She holds records, okay?
That's just when you underestimate me. Now I have to let you know. So it's those things that I really do appreciate, and I say all the time. I'm glad I was an athlete because one, even when it comes down to my health, which is the field, and we'll talk about too, where I ended up crossing over into nutrition. But for my health wise, I have an understanding on why I need to work out, how I need to work out, and muscle memory and different things like that. So I don't mind having to get back out here and work out because it's muscle memory. Now I'm not in the same shape I was before, but I know I can do it. And I will still even try to compete against the children because I'm like, I'm not gonna let you win either. And maybe
Yeah.
that's the competition. in me, but I feel like that's a lesson because everybody is not going to win. You're not going to win at everything, but what are you going to do when you don't win?
Exactly.
And that's the question. In sports, we lost the game, but that didn't mean we quit the tournament. Because even when we lost the game in a tournament, you had the opportunity to fight your way out of the losers bracket, to come back up and play against the team who's been the champions, and you could very well easily become the champion team. And that's the same thing in life. Just because something didn't happen the way that you thought it was going to happen, or this didn't work, you could have been taking a business venture or something else. Just because it did not work this time, that doesn't mean you quit. You go a different route, possibly, but you reevaluate, and that's what they would have us do. Go back and look at the game. Where did you make the mistake? Where are you dropping your shoulder? Where are your errors? Go back and critique yourself and go take a look at what am I doing wrong and how can I correct this in order to be successful going forward. And that's exactly how I was in college. It probably kept me out of a lot of trouble because I didn't have time to be out here doing too much. And it really took me to a lot of places because we played in the WAC. So we actually got to go to Hawaii, which was super fun and exciting. So we traveled a lot. And again, as an athlete, it saved me some money because I had a full ride. So I had the opportunity to kind of pick different majors and see what I wanted to do before I actually came to a decision.
Funny thing is, my mama went to Louisiana Tech too, so she probably gonna be watching this and screaming in the background. She went, back when like Carl Malone went to La Tech and all that, a while ago. Not too long ago,
Yes.
but a little bit older than us,
And I was there when his daughter, she was playing basketball.
that is so
So
funny.
she was on the basketball team when I was there.
Such a small world, but it's funny because I think so many times people downplay, like maybe not so much anymore, but people really downplay the female athlete, not realizing like the strength and the perseverance that we get and grow in from being athletes, and that female sports is just as intense and
Look,
we are
it's funny
just
you
as
say
serious.
that. They used to make us, okay, the football team, they would whine about what they had to do. So they would make the softball team go out there, and we used to have to run against them and do all this physical training. The coach would be like, y'all don't quit because if they quit, they see y'all quit before, then they're going to be whining. Okay. So we used to have to push harder to make a point to them. And we like, well, we go get a day off of practice or something because we hurt now. And it was them crying and laying on the side. And we're like, but y'all get most of the support, in the games. We used to have to ride in like a 1927 bus, and they had charter buses and that they were riding on. So a lot of people, they underestimate. And I don't think a lot of the women athletes get the credit, and they most definitely don't get the same pay, as the male counterparts, which I don't think is fair. But a lot of people don't realize the work that gets put in, especially on the female side as well.
Listen, that on the athletes that take a break, have a kid, and come back even stronger. I'm like, how you do that? Cause how you do that?
How
But
do you do that?
listen, I don't know. After I started having kids, I was like, we're gonna put these hooping shoes to the side until I go outside and beat them. But Noah about 6 feet tall now, so I gotta get strong with him. I gotta get my Tim Duncan
You do.
fundamentals.
Just post up on them, and then you can pull a mommy card on. Did you push your mama?
Yes. That's what I do. And he'd be like, oh, how wasn't it? Then I'm like, yeah.
Right. In your face, no, in your face.
That's it. That's how I go. So your time, La Tech, being a female athlete, taught you so much about perseverance, gave you an opportunity to travel, kept you out of trouble, because there's a lot of trouble to get into. But again, as a female athlete, it is more frowned upon for us to have even gotten in trouble. But
Yeah.
that's a whole nother topic, how female athletes can't do nothing without getting a book thrown at them. But anywho,
Right.
so you're playing softball, everything's going well, and then you have an injury. Like, tell us about that process and how you recovered for it and what it meant for your life as an athlete and just as a person.
I actually have had a couple injuries, and I think that's the downfall of any athletes. You really don't realize the wear and tear it does on your body, and the more impact that you're having in a sport, the worse you'll be. So most definitely, I am glad for football players that they have the concussion things now for them in place. Boxers, I worry about, because you're thinking you're taking that many hits to the head, there has to be some type of mental effect on you as well as physical. And that's even the same with softball. More than likely, because we're using our arms so much, shoulders, you're going to have a shoulder injury, you'll have a knee injury, something else like that. So I've had two shoulder surgeries. I had one prior to actually entering college. So I spent the fall rehabbing that, but I always would have issues with it. But you play through it. That's the other part where you go ahead and you play through it and you put some ice on it and you're fine. So it was actually a few years later after I was done playing when I started really feeling the impact of being an athlete since I was 4. When I knew that I had an issue was when my shoulder locked up on me while I was asleep and I couldn't get it down. And then I started not being able to feel my fingers. So I said, okay, at this point, I got to break down and go see a doctor and see what's going on. I was probably in my early 20s, like 25. And I went in for surgery and they were thinking it was going to be like a 20-minute surgery, which ended up turning into an hour because I had the hole the size of a quarter. The bone was rubbing on bone, and they ended up having to cut my clavicle off as well as put like sutures in there and fix it. And the rehab was brutal because I got locked up during rehab and couldn't move my arm. So I had to go through pool therapy and everything else. So it was a lot. It was a lot mentally, it was a lot physically. Till this day, I still have some issues with it, but it's not as bad. I'm not in the same shape as I was before. It still hurts when I play. Yes, I still get out there and play sometimes. I probably shouldn't, but that's the athlete. That was what I would say was my minor energy. Major injury was when I got hit in the face with a softball. And ironically, I wasn't even playing in the game. We were just trying to teach a friend how to bat. And I knew I shouldn't have been out there. I'm not gonna tell it, but somebody may have said you'll be fine behind the plate. And I went ahead and got over there, standing at an odd angle. And he hadn't hit a ball all day long. I mean, couldn't hit the side of the face, nothing, side, nothing, hadn't hit anything. And it was real close, like the last pitch, we're getting ready to go, whatever. Comes off at the most odd angle. Of course, I was too close. Ball came so fast and hit me in my eye, and it ended up crushing my eye socket, and they ended up having to build me a new eye socket. And the residual side effects from that, and till this day, I'm having to go. I'm like the youngest patient at the eye doctor right now. I end up having glaucoma and cataracts. That would most definitely say has been the hardest injury and something to overcome. But I really believe God is going to correct my vision because it can be restored. I truly believe that. I'm on eye drops right now, same as my grandparents. Having to take the same eye drops, 2 different ones. I've had to, because I've had so many issues with it, I've had to have 2 surgeries trying to correct the glaucoma. That was, I want to say, probably 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago was my last surgery. I thank God that one's holding up, but they're telling me I'll be on drops the rest of my life. I only have 10% of my optic nerve left in that eye, so my vision and peripheral is very tunnel and it's very cloudy. So having to adjust to seeing at night, seeing during the day, migraines, different things like that has been really hard to endure. But I do want to say within this last year has probably been the best year for me in regards to that. But again, I really do. I have full faith. Like I'm not worried about it. Or I'm just like, okay, hey, they say God is the miracle maker, and I believe that, and miracles are still happening. So I trust. I'm putting in my card, and I'm gonna be one of them
Yeah.
to get this miracle to where my vision
Listen,
fully
and
comes
we
back.
and we standing on that together. It's so crazy how something that brought so much joy and taught you so many lessons and took you so many places, then turned around and led to so much pain in your body and injuries and like just this long-term stuff
Yeah.
going on. And it's just crazy because that's how it is in life. Like sometimes something can bring you so much joy and pleasure, but it can also be the very thing that causes a struggle in your life as well. But I think it's also a testament to your faith that you're like, yeah, this has happened, but God, or I went through this was good for me then, and then this happened, and now I'm moving on. So, with all that said, how has your faith just played a role in your life in general?
It's been a real journey for me, and it's a process. And I think that's one of the things that I can say, like I tell people all the time, we grew up, I don't want to say grew up in church because we did, but we didn't, and learning how to be where I've been around people who really did grow up in church 7 days a week, like Pastor Z, um, all the time. Whereas we went to church. So I'm learning there is a difference between being an attendee at the church and actually being in the church. One, so I had faith as a child. I knew who God was. I knew who God was, but I didn't know who God is to me. And that is something that I can say that as an adult that I'm now learning. So I've always had faith, but I did not rely on my faith. So I knew because of when you go back to sports, I knew how to make it work. So I have the endurance to get out here and work if I need to. I can make something happen. I don't mind working. The running joke with one of my old coworkers was, "Well, how many jobs do you have now?" Because I keep two jobs. So if one doesn't work, then the other one doesn't work, and that's my backup plan. And I think a lot of times what we don't realize when it comes down to faith, when we have plan A, B, C, D, E, and F, why do you need a backup plan sometimes? When you really saying, okay, I'm about to take a leap on faith and trust what God is about to do. But in case, I'm gonna go ahead and have this right here. So really and truly, you're saying I'm doubting what God has for me when I say I'm going to make this backup plan. And that is something where I'm learning and it's hard. I'm not all the way there yet. But I am learning exactly what a faith walk is. So I've had to do that a lot. I walked away from a career trusting in what God has for me. I'm learning to hear God for myself. And that really does take faith because right now we're hearing a lot of different voices of people who look like they're of Christ. And some may be in the church, have been there for years, but sometimes their faith has been a little misconstrued. It's changing some. And a lot of times we're seeing people are starting to form to the world. So it's really important that you really understand who God is for you, what the word is actually saying, because the word doesn't change. So in really understanding what is the word saying, so I know I won't be led astray. I know I'm following him. I know exactly what's going on. And especially like on my job, a lot of the positions that I have held, I've been like the only female in a higher ranking position, the only one who looks like me, that's there. So there's a lot of adversity that comes with that. And I've had my job threatened before, where I was actually sitting there teaching my daughter, a verse of talking about, hey, you got to trust that God has you. When something comes, you can't be nervous and this is this, whatever. And in mid conversation, I get a call from my job threatening me about firing me. And I was like, you see how the devil works that fast? And I could have been scared. I could have conformed. I could have did all of that. So whatever they wanted. But I was like, I know I didn't do anything wrong. I stopped and I prayed. I said, God got me. We'll have to figure it out, whatever else. But I'm not about to be fearful. And sure enough, within 30 minutes, they had to call me back and apologize. And it was what I'm learning, that my faith is also not only a lesson just for me, but it's also a lesson for my child. It's a lesson for your friends. It's a lesson for your family because you never know who's watching you. So
So true. So
those are
true.
things. And I mean, like I say, I watch you, when you're going, you're moving because you really are, you're an amazing mom.
Oh,
You are strong in your ministry, you're a great wife. So being able to see how you move, how you maneuver, and a lot of times you may not know that somebody is watching you. and they're seeing how you handle a situation. Because if you're the one saying, "Oh, I trust God, I depend on God and everything else," but you running scared every time something happens, well, where is your faith?
Exactly, man. That all of that from, going to church, knowing about God, but not having an actual relationship with him, and realizing my thing used to always be, I'm waiting for like the finish line. Like, I've done this work, where's my reward? I've done this
Right.
work, where's the finish line? And it's like, no, sweetie, this is a process. Once you've done this work over here, now do this work right here, then do this work right here. You're never not working on your relationship with God. Like, you never get to a point where it's like, oh, me and God so in tune with each other. There's nothing for me to work on. I'm perfect while I'm here. And it's like, even when Jesus, who was perfect, was here, he still went and prayed. He still was like, I am subject to whatever my father says. And for me, that was really hard because I was like, no, no, no. I've worked hard at this. I should be able to just sit back and relax and rest. And it's like, no. But even going back to being an athlete, it's like, just because you were the best in sixth grade, don't mean you can get out here and run with these freshmen. Just because you on varsity your sophomore year, it doesn't mean you finna be a starter or you are ready to compete in college. So just that mindset of, in this relationship, is constant work. It's rewarding work. It's work that pays off, but it's also hard work, and you always working on it. And you mentioned, like, your daughter is watching you, and it's not just, I got to do this for Bridget. It's like, I got to do this for everybody watching. I got to do this
Right.
for the kingdom. And I mean, even just being a mom out here in this crazy world, raising a daughter in a society that still has its view skewed on the role of a woman. Like, how do you handle that? Because I know when we had two boys first, and I was like, y'all daddy got to teach y'all how to be a man. That ain't my job. I'm good. And then when I found out we were having a girl, I was like, oh my God, you're going to have to help me, Lord, because how am I supposed to teach her how to be a woman in this society? And I'm struggling here and I'm struggling there. And yeah, I was freaking out. But to the moms out there, like, what encouragement do you have for them? What has that been like, trying to do all the things and still remember to be a mom and just a woman and take care of yourself?
I think that's the hard part. That I'm still learning how to take care of myself. Because when you become a mom and a parent, your thing is you fix it. I'm gonna take care of everything. Everyone's okay. I gotta make sure everyone's here. So I'm not married. I'm a single mom. So I wanted to make sure that she lacked nowhere, that she had everything. And, at the same time, too, I wanted to be able to give her what we had. So when we were growing up, we were cruising at 8, 9 years old. So we had passports. So let's say I realized how fortunate I was to be able to go out the country, to be able to do those things. And that's something that I said I want to give my daughter. I want to give my child. I want them to have those type of opportunities. So I did work, extra. Anything that she wanted to be in, I made sure she was in it. But I also didn't realize how exhausting it was for me. And I really didn't realize that if mommy is not okay, then your kids are not okay. So one thing I do want to say to married women, single women, because a lot of times, sometimes women are in marriage and can still feel single because you feel like I'm having to take on a lot of stuff. Your spouse may be at work all the time. There are so many different dynamics that go together that we really don't realize the pressure that you are taking on. I want you to know, if you need a break, it is okay to take a break. And I struggle with feeling guilty about that. I struggle with feeling guilty about, oh, she couldn't make this event, whatever else. And actually, I want to say Pastor Z, she checked me one day. She was like, look, that girl has everything she needs. The extra stuff on being able to go out, that's like icing on the cake. That's the extra. So why you worrying about yourself, about you can't give her this, you can't give her that, when you have given her everything that she needs? And I think sometimes that's what we have to realize. Are we giving them what they need? And really and truly understanding the foundation of what you're giving them. So it's not, and a lot of times I think we miss it, where we think kids want material things when really and truly they just want you. So they may be excited about you watching them to do this new little dance move that they're doing, or look at this picture that we did, or can you do because Riley and Livy, we're gonna have them doing makeup and we're going to be coloring. I said, so they just want to color a picture with you. They want to do a little makeup, and then we're gonna have a dance contest. So it's those small things, and what we actually fail to realize, those are memories that they're going to be taking with them. One of the best things that I really can say that you give them is a foundation. Give them a foundation in the word, on how to figure out to say, okay, when I'm going through something, how do I pray? And it doesn't have to be anything in just super long 2-hour prayer. No, you got to pray 2 hours. No, you make sure that you're teaching them on their level, and monitoring what they're being exposed to, because that is one of the main things that I can say that I did with her. There's certain things I did not let her watch. Certain stuff you just cannot do, and that is protecting them from it. But with her being age, I'm about to have a 16-year-old, y'all. I'm not ready, but I'm ready. But she's gonna be 16. So it's certain things, that I have conversations with her about, and I'm gonna talk to her about it straight head on. This is the reality of it too, but this is also what God says about it. So I'm gonna give you both sides of it, and I'm also gonna let you know you're the one that has the opportunity to make this decision. And whatever decision you make, there's consequences that come with it. You got good consequences and you got bad consequences. Just know you're gonna answer for it. So I'm giving you the opportunity to know what's going on, what's happening, because that's what's going to go over into your life when you're here. And as a parent and as a mom, it is okay to take a break. It is okay to say, I'm gonna go sit in this bathroom for an hour and I don't need nobody to talk to me and watch your movie and just sit there. Or if you need to go for a walk by yourself, go for a walk by yourself. If you need a spa day, take your spa day. And it may be, say, during the summer and everyone's in the summer program and they don't want to go today. Everybody going to the summer program today because you need your day to yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that. And that is okay, because mental health is real. And I don't think a lot of people realize that mental health is real. And you have a lot of people that have become suicidal. You have a lot of people, there are some things where if we actually just spoke up and said we need some help, before you're hitting a breaking point. And I think that's what's hard for a lot of us, because society has put this stigma on, the more that you can take, you're strong. Oh, you pile us up. Oh, you strong. No, it's even something that came out where I saw they have AI going through everything. What, they had a robot that was working in a factory, and the robot was working, 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 working. They were pushing it. The robot quit. It died. It failed. So even if the robot is gonna die and fail from sitting here all this time of you pushing, 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 just think of us. You can only push the body so far. And that's even the same thing when it goes back again to being an athlete. You can only push the body so far before it says we quit. And you end up popping a muscle. You ended up breaking something, tearing something, or mentally you just fatigued. And
Listen.
you won't pick up another ball. You won't pick up anything else. And you'll find yourself saying, I can't make the game. I don't want to go. I'm snappy with my kids. I'm snappy with my spouse. I don't even want to take a look at myself. Like, I had postpartum. I wasn't understanding what postpartum was, but I didn't even want to look at myself when I was going through it. And those are things that we really have to address to get ourselves back to a good mental state.
Yeah, you are preaching to the choir here, because I got all these kids, and I don't know. I really believe it's just a part of the trauma that gets passed down through generations for all women. But I can speak as women of color, because that's what I am. I think it is unfortunately a badge of honor
It
to
is.
carry everything for everybody. And look at how much I can endure, and look at how much pain I can take, and look at how hard I work, and look at how long I can go, and look at this and look at that. And your reward is that pat on the back, that hand clap you get from everybody while you sitting over here exhausted and drowning. but you still trying to go. And I'm still learning as well, but it is super important now. Just even with the older I get, I just cannot do what I used to do. I can't. My body be like, girl, stop. Stop. The other day I was like, I'm not gonna take any days off from work. I'm just gonna wait until spring break. And I woke up feeling so sick. And guess what I did? Still tried to get dressed and go to work. Because I was like, I can't take a day off. I need to just go. I need to just do it. And the more I moved around and tried to get ready for work, the more my head was hurting, the more I started feeling bad. And I was like, what are you doing? You don't feel well. Go lay back down. They can figure it out. And there was so much guilt in that because I was like, if I'm not there, I can't do this. And it becomes an idol. Your strength, your ability to push through, how much you can take becomes an idol for you. And like I said, then your reward is everybody clapping their hands, patting you on the back as you drown in your own exhaustion because you didn't stop and take a break. And I told my friend the other day, because I have another friend, we just hold each other accountable as like moms and wives. And I said, girl, guess what? I said, I was tired. And so I didn't do anything else. I went and sat down.
I'm proud of you.
And she gave me a hand clap. And I was like, when I say that out loud, it sounds so simple, but we don't do it.
You
We'll be,
don't.
I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I'm going to get this done. And then by the time you get that done, there's something else to do. And then you're like, I'll just do this real quick. And then you turn around and hours have gone by and it's midnight and you got to get up at 5 something. And now you looking crazy. And we don't realize, like, just like an athlete, like I said, playing sports, my body be hurt. I had to go to the chiropractor for like a year and a half to get my body realigned because of just
It's
everything.
out of whack.
It was so messed up. And I mean, my back was hurting so bad, my hips, my ankle, like everything just hurting. When I went to the chiropractor, he was like, you had maybe about another year with your back being like this before you started doing some serious damage to your bones and your cartilage. And I was like, I just thought, I just need to work out some more. I need to drink more water. And he's like, no, you see how your spine is curved right here? And then again right there. And then how your neck is. I was like, oh, my body was really jacked up. And I'm just pushing through the pain because I can take it. I can handle it. And so that was an eye opener for me. Like when you feel a pain in your body, go check on that. Go see what's up with that. Even if it's I'm mentally exhausted, go sit down somewhere. Even if it's turning on a movie for the kids, popping some popcorn, y'all go sit on that couch. I'm gonna sit on this couch. Don't talk to me. Now that I'm back working, the kids ride to work with me and they ride home with me because they go to school where I teach. And I tell them in the car, don't ask me. I've had people asking me questions all day. Don't ask me no questions. We ride in silence for your sake. This is for your good that you give me some time. Because if y'all keep talking to me, I'm gonna go off on every single one of y'all, from the littlest one to the biggest one. But it's like taking that, it really is being humble and saying, I cannot handle this and I need a break. And it's so hard to do that.
It is, but it really is okay. Just the same way how we have made it the norm not to ask. I think we really, as friends, accountability partners, like you say on that, even if I know because I know you, and I'll be like, hey, TC, you all right? Something else. If not, again, if we were closer, most definitely offer to say, okay, I'm gonna come sit with you for today. You go ahead and do something. And that is something that I know we would do. I'd be like, girl, go to the store. We're here. I got the kids, whatever else, as long as we know, because sometimes it's hard breaking a habit. And that is a habit, that is a way of life. That is something that really has been taught to us. And I think also generational wise in our culture, that is something where the load that you carry, that's a badge of honor. I'm good. I have all this extra, girl. I did A, B, and C and this and this. But really and truly, the reward that you get is more work. Because if you can do this, then you can do more. And people don't understand when you break. And then they're looking at you like, what is wrong with you? Because all of a sudden you're snapping off on everybody. Whereas again, that's something that could have been a preventative measure. in place if we had spoken up before. But I don't fault anybody because I myself do the same thing. Because one, you don't want to feel like you're a burden on somebody else. And to rejection. When I do ask, nobody likes being rejected, or told no, or then it looks like, oh, I can't handle this or anything else. And it's just an image. And again, that goes back to being an idol because it's an image. So I'm trying to hold up this image that I'm all of this and I can handle all of this, but really, truly, I can't. And that even goes back again to your faith. Where you go, there's a lot of things where we're finding ourselves relying on self to push a lot of things through to make it work and everything else, where God is waiting on us and saying, okay, well, when you hand it to me, it's fine, I got you. And I even laugh sometimes how me and the Lord works. I'm sitting there and I laugh sometimes. I say, because I know my angels and them are probably looking at me like, here she go. Look at her. Look at now, she crying. She crying. She finna come back. And I'll be like, what, Jasmine? I'm just tired. Why are you making say, I didn't tell you to do that to begin with. I didn't tell you to go get 2 jobs.
So
I
I'm
didn't tell you to go
cracking
get 3
up
jobs.
because that is so me. I said, I bet the angels and everybody in heaven be like, watch this. What?
Right.
Look what's about to happen.
Well, let's say watch this.
Okay. They're like, look, she about to crash. Look at her.
Exactly.
Look at her. Look at her. Look at her.
Exactly.
I'll just be like, I thought I could do it. I
That's
thought
not what you
I could
said.
handle
I
it.
thought that's what you said. Right.
That is so true. So what are you up to now? I know you talked about the health and wellness and nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
So like what is Bridget up to now?
So that is what I'm doing. So I am a nutritionist. The route that I was before was in school nutrition. So I've done school nutrition for over 14 years in the school districts, assisting with compliance, making sure the food was at the correct criteria that we're supposed to be having, different things. So I was very big into that. I've always had a passion for like meal prep and different things like how the food works in the body and the system. We're here recently with all of the diseases and new bacteria and everything that's coming out. I've learned to take a different holistic approach. I was on blood pressure pills when I got pregnant with my daughter. And what I realized was mine was from genetics. So because my dad had heart issues and in my family is blood pressure and everything else like that, I genetic wise just inherited it. And because I stopped playing sports, it took over my body. But what I found out was when I was pregnant with her, they put me on a blood pressure pill, which in turn, one of the side effects was lupus. So I ended up having lupus. And the type that I had was deteriorating the muscles in my body. So I was in a lot of pain for some years. They ended up having to switch me to a different type of blood pressure pill. But one thing that I have learned that with any pill that they give you, there is a side effect. So all it's doing is covering up the issue. It's not fixing the issue. And that's down to just about any medication that you take, even all the way down to cancer treatments. It's killing your whole entire immune system. And now you're open up to other diseases and different things like that. So in my research, I've been learning how to take a holistic approach and utilizing um, herbal remedies to assist like with coughs and colds and different things like that. So I'm actually working on getting into a program so I can become certified and become a master holistic nutritionist. I'm excited about that. So I've been making my own like tinctures at home. I make my own cough syrup, capsuling my own pills, vitamins, different things like that. Learning how to do my own garden. So I have an aloe plant at home that I'm so proud of because I don't have a green thumb, and that's something that I'm learning. That's how I know it's the Lord, because me and plants don't get along at all. My first aloe, I killed it. I didn't know you couldn't leave it outside. I was like, they grow outside. I didn't know it couldn't be in the freezing weather. It's probably why they are not found in those areas, and I ended up killing it. So I got a new one, and Lolo is in the in the windowsill. So that's my aloe plant, and it's been blooming. It's growing. So being able to know exactly where my food is coming from, knowing where my medicine is coming from, I've noticed a huge change in my own health. So even when I am sick, I'm not sick as long. I know different signs that I can see now when something's approaching, and how to prepare my body to get ready for what's coming. And I do believe that in that field, why I really feel like it's important for you to have believers in that field, because there is a lot of witchcraft. So a lot of people, and that's something that I've seen where I'm really learning. One, when we talk about faith in relationship with God, I'm learning right now that I have to have a strong relationship with God and a strong faith in a clear understanding of who He is and what He is, going into a field like that. Because what you're going to see is a lot of people utilizing crystals, they're utilizing sage, sage in the home, rub this around your head, and I forget what else, the affirmation prayers that that they're using. If you put, I had someone to tell me, oh, if you put a stick of cinnamon in your wallet, then that's going to bring you money. And I'm like, well, I eat cinnamon all the time and I ain't no millionaire, so I'm not quite sure how putting a stick of cinnamon in my wallet is going to help. So it's those things where, but if I'm desperate, or if I really don't know or have my faith, you can easily go over into witchcraft, into those areas. So I know that there is a reason for the calling. I know there's a reason why I'm doing it, and that's something else that's really pushing me towards it, because those are things that we are going to need, because pharmaceutical sales will not always be here. And as you can see, there's a lot of things that are being contaminated. There's so many recalls on stuff. And I'm sorry, I don't want to take a pill that says one of the side effects is you may jump off the side of a bridge and vomit uncontrollably. I don't want that. So there are natural remedies that can help your body, all the way down to cancers and different things like that. But you have to have a sound mind and know who you're seeking for help, because you could be seeking someone who practices witchcraft, and that stuff is real. It's real. You saw it in the Bible. They could do the same thing, but it's, again, it's the spirit behind it that is the healing power.
Yes, yes. I know you see so many people out here either like just take a pill for that. And it's like, no, I'm not gonna take a pill for that. Like,
Yeah.
I was talking about allergies, and everybody's like, just go get an allergy shot. And I'm like, no, my body will adjust. This tree pollen is choosing violence out here, but I just moved out here. So
Right.
and I'll get used to it. I got me some local honey, um, boosting up my citrus, and my body will adjust in time. I think that also speaks to the culture of we should never be uncomfortable. If you're uncomfortable, there's a pill for that. You have pain in your body, there's a pill for that. Oh, you sneezing a lot, there's a pill for that. And then the side effect of the pill is you may fall asleep while driving.
Right.
Excuse me? I think I'd rather have a runny nose than fall asleep while driving. And
Right.
I'm getting my master's in social work. And so we dove kind of into the pharmaceutical company and how all these medicines come out to help alleviate a problem, but then they cause another problem that you then need another medicine for to treat that problem, which causes another problem. And you're on your blood pressure medicine, but now your blood pressure medicine is causing you to have muscle and bone issues. So then you have a medicine for your muscle and your bone issues, but now it's throwing your hormones off. So then you got to take these artificial hormones. And it's like, is there not another way to fix my blood pressure so that I'm not also messing up my bones and my muscles and my hormones too? So, and you are absolutely right about the need for believers in that industry. And it's kind of scary, but I like the move that I see with the body of Christ and believers getting involved in these other fields and industries, and not thinking that ministry is just staying in the church and getting up behind the pulpit and opening your Bible and reading scriptures to people. Like, ministries being out here in these fields and in these industries, helping people with the gifts that God has given us, however that may be, because you do run into a lot of people who are, herbalists, and they worship the herbs and they believe that
Yes.
the herbs give them life and give them power. And because they have this crystal that they set under the full moon, they will be prosperous. And it's like, that's too much. It's too much. Now, God put these plants, he put these natural things here to help us, not for us to worship them. So it's really refreshing and good to see somebody who is a believer that's like, I'm going to use these herbs for what God intended them for, not to bring me spiritual wholeness, but to help with this mucus build.
Heal my body.
Yeah, that's
that's
it.
what it was put here for, to heal me, not to be my healer.
Exactly.
So it's two different things. And I think that's where a lot of people get misconstrued. And where I say it's important that you understand the dialect and the things that are being said, because there's a lot of things here where they say, oh, I'm doing it for the ancestors, and different things like that. Oh, praises. You have to. And I was even on one call where they were like, you need to respect the plant and praises to them, because if not, then they will get back at you. Well, I don't believe that, that because, excuse me, my plant, I accidentally killed my aloe. So now the aloe next plant is going to kill me. And that is exactly how they put it. And I'm like, no, I'm learning, but you have to be able to understand that. And if you believe those things, then that will be your driving force. When you're in it, I think a lot of things were, for me, why I feel like it's so important, even in the body of Christ, because the body of Christ is very unhealthy. In a while, we see a lot of overweight pastors out there, and we're realizing that how can you really be able to move around and serve? A lot of times if your health is not good. So you can't go everywhere if your health is not well. If you can't, if I can't get on a bus, if I can't fit into an airplane seat, there's a lot of places where you're constricted to, you're restricted to, that you can't go because you cannot travel. If you have to be on a breathing machine or something like that, those are areas where in our health that we can fix. Diabetes is not something that's normal. It is something that is reversible. You can reverse diabetes. You can reverse blood pressure. The reason that really motivated me to get off of my blood pressure pills was because, well, after doing your research, and I don't know if a lot of people knows this, but blood pressure pills will shut down your kidneys. So now your kidneys are shut down. Now you're on dialysis. Now I need a transplant. So it's things like that where if I stay on this pill for so long, I don't realize that it's really killing me when I'm thinking it's really healing me, and it's not. And those are things where you have to go do your own research to see what is the longevity of me taking this. What are the side effects long run? Because we look at the short-term goal and not the long-term goal a lot of times. And even in our own culture, the diet that we have, that we were given, is one of a high in fat. So we praise the fact that we eat fried chicken at every funeral. We finna have another funeral because we eat fried chicken and greasy grits. And all of so there's things where you can still have those things, because I'm not a person that says we need to cut everything out. I think everything is good in moderation. And also monitoring the source on where you receive it from. It's okay to treat yourself sometime, but we can't treat ourselves every day. So those are areas where I just want to say you really want to pay attention to, do your research. And again, there's other people out there that are believers in the body of Christ that are looking at a holistic approach to actually assisting and aiding in your health. But also it should be coupled with your doctor, because you do need to be monitored by somebody. But just because my doctor tells me that, oh, you have cancer and this is the final, it's not the final. It's never the final. God got the final say so, and there is alternative medication.
Yeah. And even like some herbs can be toxic if not taken properly. So absolutely, you can't just go out here and pick whatever weeds you see in your yard and boil it and drink that. Don't do that.
No.
Don't do that. Please research, please get with somebody like Bridget who has some knowledge on these things. Also your medical doctors. We're definitely not saying that the medical world is evil or that herbalists are evil. We're just saying that there are alternatives, and when you work together with people who are experts in these fields, you are more likely to have a healthy body, a healthy mind, and a healthy life. So don't go crazy talking about what we said. Don't go see your doctor, none of that, because that is not what we said. And whatever, I ain't even...
Look, and side note, these are the views of Bridget Broadnax. These are not the views of the McCullar Ministry. We are not saying that you cannot go to a doctor. These are our views. These are my views.
Period. period. But all right, so as we wrap up, what are just some last minute things, some last words of encouragement that you would like to share with the people?
One thing I can say is be confident in yourself. Going through the journey, it's okay to go through the process. Processing can hurt. Processing, it can be depressing. It can be a lot of things, a lot of words, but it's okay. Allow yourself to go through the process. Um, because when you come out on the other side, I truly believe that you'll be able to assist somebody else. You'll be able to look back and say, I understand now why I had to go through what I went through. And again, when you say from a holistic approach, you'll be whole. And allowing God to really form you and to go through that. As a mother, it's okay for you to need to take a break. It's okay for you to have to say, I need to step away for a minute. It's okay for you to ask for help. All of these things, it is okay. And you are still an amazing person. You are still a mom. You are still who God has called you to be, and be confident in yourself on what you're doing, and that it is okay to reach out. Overall, like I say, one main thing that I have learned is that I really have been working on having a closer relationship with God. When you have a closer relationship with anyone, you understand how they move, you understand how to talk to them, they know exactly how to talk to you. So don't try and approach God how Minister McCullar approaches God, because again, when I believe was it David, when he went to go to war, they gave him somebody else's armor and he couldn't do it. So it's the same thing. You go to God in your armor. Your word, of course, is your armor too, but you go to God and what is comfortable for you on how I speak to God. And he knows you because he made you. So take the time, and in the beginning, don't feel like you have to be what somebody else is, or I got to be there for 3 hours. If it's 5 minutes, give God your 5 minutes. It's about your heart posture of what he's looking at when you're coming. Not about, oh, he gave me 30 minutes to just mumbling. No, he gave me the 5 minutes that he had true heart crying out, and God knows that, he honors that. And as you with anything else, just like in sports, the more you practice, the better you get at it. So the more time that you take with God, the better and the longer you'll be able to have and saying, okay, now I know how to pray for an hour. Now I know how to travail. I know these things. You can't go in thinking you know it when you don't know it. And don't be afraid to ask other people who have been there longer than you. So yes, link yourself up with some people who have been there longer than you, that knows more word than you, that have been in the church longer than you in different areas. Don't be afraid to ask them how to do these things. What do I do? And if you have a question in a word, link up with somebody that has strong faith that is a good sounding board. Don't link up with just anybody. Say that's gonna have you out there. But that's really about all I have.
Thank you so much. That the process definitely hurts. But even being an athlete, you can't show up to the championship game. Like, no, you got to
I know.
practice, you got to work hard, you got to condition your body. You have to win these other games to get to the championship.
Right.
Like, it's a process. And when it's important to you, you do it. And when you are taken care of physically and mentally, it's a lot easier to do it. Even as a parent, if my kids always coming to me whining and complaining at the last minute when they completely are exhausted and worn out, it's like, why didn't you come to me sooner? And I
Right.
think God
Right.
is the same way. Like, you decided to wait till you was down to your last penny, almost on the street, completely worn out and exhausted to come to me. And so I think we do have to get in that habit of coming to God always and early, however we can. I know people, they wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning so they can pray from 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. And I'm like, I think if I woke up at 4 a.m., nobody would want to be around me all day, because I'd be snapping at everybody like, why are you looking at me? Why are you talking to me? But for them, it works. For me, sometimes I'm able to get up 15 to 20 minutes early, pray and read. Sometimes after I put the kids to bed, I'll stay up or I'll read on my phone while I'm sitting in there with them. And that's what works for me to make sure I have that connection. I think sometimes we feel like we're not making these grand gestures in these
Right.
2-hour prayer sessions. And it's just like, that's cool, but where's your heart to just desire him constantly. And so if it's 5 minutes here and there, if it's 5 hours, if it's going to a conference, if it's catching a devotion on YouTube, like where's your heart? Like all of it matters. And definitely being confident. I think transitioning from always being strong, always having it together to being humble and vulnerable is very scary. And
Right.
your self-esteem definitely takes a hit, but being confident
Sure.
and saying this is what's best in the long run, man, and even being that person in your family that's like, I'm not doing that, not doing it. That's hard too. That's a process too. All of it is. But thank you for your time, Bridget, the homie. We can't wait till you come visit because I'm
I
gonna
can't
kick it
wait.
with you, and then I'm gonna leave you with them kids.
Look, that'll work. I don't mind.
Just so you know, I think everybody know when you come visit us, we gonna hang out. I'm gonna cook, and then I'm gonna leave you with these kids so I can, even if, like I said, even if I just go to Walmart and people watch. That's what I'm
And
thinking.
you know, I'll tell you, go ahead and go. And we're gonna go outside. I'm a push no one them around on the basketball
Do
court.
it. Push them
Yes, and
hard.
then I'm have Aaron super hype. The girls, we gonna play a little makeup, and they're gonna have some karaoke, and I'm gonna sing
Okay.
with them. Oh,
I
yeah,
listen.
we're
We
gonna be
ready.
turned all the way up.
We ready. Cause I'm gonna be gone. I'm gonna be out the house.
Look, and that's okay, because I be like, go on, CC. As
Yeah,
long
that
as you
one
got me
time you
something to
watched
eat.
the kids and then we came back and you were like, why are y'all back already? And we were like, well, we didn't have anything else to do.
Yes, that's the why
Sorry.
are you
We
here?
ruined it. Sorry.
You're that's why I say you're ruining it. You ruined it. Why are you here?
Oh goodness. Well, Bridget, thank you. It's been real. Again, this connection has been divine and I'm so thankful for it. And I just continue to look forward to all the things that we will do together in ministry, and that we will do on our own platforms. And I'm definitely gonna be harassing you every time I feel a tickle in my throat.
I got you. I say, I've actually been thinking of some stuff for allergies.
Mm-hmm.
The same. So once I can figure out, I have to send it to you in the mail, or I may
Yes.
need to take a trip down there,
Yeah.
and get it to you because I have been able to with during COVID, stuff to help assist me in protecting my lungs. So
Oh
it's
yeah.
a lot of things I say now that really and truly, and once I had the opportunity, because some of this stuff takes like a month to make.
Yes.
So, once I have the opportunity to get some of my stuff made, I will be sure to send you some because I have now learned how to make my own tea. So I have my tea bags that I can package for you. So I'll
Yes.
definitely, now that I can send you in the mail. So you should be
Cool
getting a
thing.
package here within next month or so.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, everybody, thank you for tuning in with me and Bridget today. I know you got something out of this. I definitely did. I have been convicted. I have been encouraged, and I hope you guys have too. Thank you for tuning in and supporting the ministry. Make sure you stay up with McCullar Family Ministries, and I'm sure you will be seeing Minister Bridget more often on our platform. You guys have a good